First thing on head. Well, how's it, people? So guess what? A few days ago marked the start of my 6th year in Korea. Holy mother of God. I know, Harry the Hedgehog, I know, it's crazy. You know what's crazy? The fact that I said I'm coming for just 1 year and now we're on to year 6. So I thought, since I've been teaching here for such a long time now, why not compare Korean schools to South African schools? Now let me tell you something. Korean schools and South African schools, to me, it's like chalk and cheese. There's so many differences. I think for this video, I'm gonna list 6 of them. Because if I do all the differences, let's be honest, this video is gonna go on till like into my next life even. Now, the first big difference between Korean schools and South African schools, it's one that I really wish that we could implement in South Africa. At a Korean school, you have a school cafeteria. That's right, a school cafeteria. There's no nonsense of bringing your own lunchbox to school like I did for all 12 years of my school life. I brought a lunchbox to school every day. So in Korea, at 12:30, it's lunchtime and everyone goes to the school cafeteria. You've got your rice, you've got your kimchi, you've got your different side dishes. You've got your little soup thing to go with your rice. You've got your fruit. Sometimes you'll get your little vitamin juice thing. Korean school lunches are on point, yo. It's healthy, it's balanced, and most importantly, it's the same for every student. This is why I wish this was implemented in South Africa. If you are a pupil in South Africa, you will know during our break times, there's no going to a cafeteria. No. There's pulling out your lunchbox which your mother prepared for you at home. Which means everyone has different lunches. Now here's where the problem arises, because some people are very rich and some people are very poor. So I remember, like back in the day, back in the day when I was a pupil and it was lunchtime, I hated lunchtime because I wasn't one of the rich kids, okay? My parents couldn't even afford a bag of air. If you're a student in South Africa, you will know. You get these lunch boxes. How I wanted that lunchbox. That lunchbox, you know, with the different compartments, like 10 different compartments. This compartment for your sandwiches, and this compartment for your juice, and this compartment for your box of Smarties, and this compartment for your bloody salad. Jeepers! Do you know how I wanted that lunchbox so badly? That was like my dream in school, to have that lunchbox. Do you think I had that lunchbox? No, I did not have that lunchbox. My lunchbox had one compartment and it was the whole bloody lunchbox. And in my little lunchbox, I got my 2 chicken curry sandwiches. That's right, chicken curry sandwiches. So while everyone else had like little cheese, tomato, ham sandwiches, here's me with my little chicken curry sandwiches. And do you think everyone's looking at their ham and cheese sandwiches? No, everyone's looking at my chicken curry sandwiches. Not because they want to eat it, but because, ew, it's a chicken curry sandwich. Now don't get me wrong, I love my chicken curry and I love my chicken curry sandwiches. What I don't like is when everyone's looking at my chicken curry sandwiches because it's so different to their ham and cheese sandwiches. So to cut a very long story short, this is why I wish we could have a school cafeteria where everyone comes and eats the same meal. No one's looking at what you're bringing for lunch because everyone's got the same meal. Also, in South Africa, we have a tuck shop, like an actual little shop that sells you junk food like chips and sweets and chocolates and bloody chicken pies. And the problem with having a tuck shop is not only is it unhealthy, but number 2, again, some of us are very poor. So us poor kids have to watch the rich kids who could go to the bloody tuck shop every day. That smell of the chicken pie will kill you, and you have to stand there and watch them eating that chicken pie while you eat your bloody chicken curry sandwich. In Korea, there's no such thing as a tuck shop. You've got your cafeteria, everyone eats the same thing. That's how it must be. It reduces so much stress not having to worry about watching other kids eating delicious things and not having other kids looking at your 2 chicken curry sandwiches. So yeah, when it comes to having a school cafeteria versus bringing your own lunch to school, I think Korea wins. Number 2, school finishing time. Oh my lordy lord. When I was in high school, I finished school at, I think, 2:15. Then, if you wanted to do an extramural activity like a sport or whatever, and which I didn't because, hello, does it look like I would do anything extra at school? No. If you did an extramural activity, I think you finished at 4. In Korea, things are a little different, just a little different. In Korea, you get elementary school, which is primary school, then you get middle school, which is what I teach, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, and then you get high school. That's grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. Middle school students, for example, they finish normal school at 5. They finish school, like they finish studying at school at 5. At 5! And then, when school finishes in Korea at 5, they don't go home. Most Korean kids will go to more school. It's called a hagwon. Hagwon is an academy. It's like a private institution where they go and study more. So they go from school to more school. And in the case of middle school students, they will finish at these hagwons or academies at like 9, 10 at night. If you're a high school student, you are finishing at like midnight. I'm not even exaggerating. They finish often at midnight. They stop studying. And sometimes I've had previous students who would finish at midnight at their hagwon, and then they will go home and study just a little bit more until 1, 2 a.m. And then they will go to sleep, and then they will wake up at 7 again for normal school. Yeah, this is where South Africa wins. In this situation, in this circumstance, I am so grateful that I was schooled in South Africa, because that to me is insane. I remember when I was in high school, I used to go for maths and science tuition because I sucked at maths and science. Yes, I know, I'm Indian. How can you suck at science and maths, Sam? You're Indian. I know, I'm the worst Indian in the world. I know, okay? Anyway, I sucked at those subjects, so I would go for extra maths and science tuition. And on those days, I would finish at like 5. I remember being so upset because I was finishing at 5 and like my whole evening was gone. Meanwhile, I was finishing at 5 and I still had my entire evening. Little did I know, Korean students were studying till midnight. Yeah. Number 3. This one is another one I wish we had in South Africa. Why did we not implement this in South Africa? The fact that the students in Korea clean. They do the cleaning at school. You know how in South Africa we have a caretaker to like clean? In America, maybe you have a janitor. In Korea, there is a specific time of the day when they're done with classes and they clean. Students are like designated different areas, different classrooms. Some come to the teacher's office and they will clean up. Some students will do the sweeping, some students will do the dishes, some students will mop. It is the most wonderful thing. Why do we not do this in South Africa? Our kids in South Africa are little spoiled brats. Can you imagine implementing this now in South Africa? Pfft, like our kids will even lift a finger now. And the Korean students, they don't even question it. It is a part of their school life. They just do it. Do you know why this is good? It's good because it teaches you responsibility. It teaches you to respect your surroundings, which is something that we desperately need in South Africa. Yeah, I'm bringing up my kids in Asia. I've decided. The next one, school uniform. If you're in school in South Africa, you will know that the school uniform is everything, okay? It's very important because it's a symbol, basically. It's a symbol of your school. The way you presented your school uniform was very important because if you were seen untidy, you were making a bad name for your school, right? Right. We had a code of conduct and it listed every detail about how your uniform should be. Like they would go into specifics in South Africa. I'm talking specifics, guys. Like for girls, your skirt needs to be this many centimeters above your knee kind of thing. Your hair cannot touch your collar. Your shirt must always be tucked in. If a teacher or a prefect saw you outside school and your shirt was untucked, you would be punished. Your nails couldn't be long. We had an inspection like every 2 weeks or like every month or something. And you had to like hold up your fingers. And if the teacher could see your nail peeping from above your finger, it was considered too long. Your socks. It could not just be any old socks with any patterns on it. It had to be white socks or plain gray socks. You like patterns. Don't even think about wearing patterns. So this is why when I got to Korea, it was such a huge shock for me because they also had a school uniform, but they're so chilled about their uniform, so flexible. So for example, the kids will wear socks, but like they can wear any socks with like any patterns on them. I see kids with like hamburgers on their socks and like Sesame Street characters and Lilo and Stitch, and I'm like, over their school uniform, they'll wear hoodies, like normal hoodies, and I'm like, what? How is this even allowed? They have their hair loose, it's fine. Kids dye their hair. Dyeing your hair in South Africa, oh my god. You don't even try dyeing your hair in South Africa. You'll just get sent home. I'm not even exaggerating. You will get sent home. Yeah, so I'm not too sure. I think in this case South Africa wins because it just you know, it looks neat. When you're not wearing a hoodie over your uniform, when you're not wearing like multicolored socks, it's just neat. It's just neat. So I think South Africa takes this one. Another big difference I've noticed between Korean schools and South African schools is the relationship that the teachers have with their students. I know in South Africa there is a very distinct hierarchy. You have one person who is very obviously the teacher, and then you have another person who is very obviously the student. The gap between the two of you is very far. Whereas in Korea, definitely there's also a hierarchy. Your teacher's there and your student is here, but I feel like the gap between them is a lot closer. In Korea, the relationship that the teachers and the students have, it's very like motherly, fatherly. It's very, I don't know. Whereas the roles in South Africa, the roles of the teacher and the student, we have a very distant relationship. For example, take the staff room. In Korea you say teacher's office, in South Africa you say staff room. In South Africa, the staff room, a student is not allowed. Like, it is forbidden. It is taboo. At my school anyway, you cannot even put a toe into the staff room. If you needed a teacher, you would knock on the door, a teacher would come, they would call the teacher that you needed, and that teacher would step out of the staff room and close the door and talk to you. To this day, I have not seen the inside of the staff room at my primary school or my high school. I have never seen the inside of it. Never, ever, ever. And that was the thing, like that was the teacher's space. It was just a line that you could not cross. Whereas in Korea, the staff room, or the teacher's office as they call it, it's totally okay for the students to come in. Totally okay. Obviously, they will knock first. Once they're given permission, it's totally fine for them to walk right into the staff room and talk to whichever teacher they need. If there are snacks on the table in the teacher's office, the teachers will just offer the food, like take it to go. I'm like, what? Wait, those are our snacks. If there were snacks in the staff room in South Africa, I would not even make eye contact with those snacks. Like, I would not even try. I remember when I was in school, I was terrified of my teachers. I was absolutely terrified. Like, even to approach them and ask them for something, I was terrified. And that's because that gap between the teacher and the student, it was so distinct and it was so far apart. Whereas in Korea, because they have this like motherly, fatherly relationship, they were so chilled with their teachers. I'm not saying that they don't respect their teachers, and I'm not saying that the teachers don't discipline. They still discipline, and the students definitely respect their teachers. But still, the students are so comfortable with their teachers. To a certain point, I wish I had that relationship with my teachers, in the sense that I wish I was that comfortable to talk to my teachers. But at the same time, I'm quite happy that the roles in South Africa are so distinct. It makes more sense to me, maybe because I was brought up like that in that society, but it makes more sense to me when the roles are super distinct. So that one, I'm not sure who wins the point there, Korea or South Africa. Okay, this one, bloody hell, Korea, you win this one. In Korea, they have school birthdays. That's right, school birthdays, which means that on the birthday of their school, like when the school was born, like when the school was built, they take the day off. Yes, you heard me right. The day is given off on the school's birthday. Everyone can stay at home. I still don't even know when my school's birthday is in South Africa, my primary school or my high school. You ask me when's my school birthday, I don't know. But in Korea, you will know when your school's birthday is. You know why? Because you get the day off. Why are we being robbed in South Africa? I mean, come on, we are robbed of so many things in South Africa, and now we're getting robbed of school birthdays, huh? Really not fair. Really not fair. Alright. That is about it. You decide for yourself which elements you like from the Korean system, which elements you like from the South African system. And if you are a teacher in Korea, tell me what differences in the Korean system blew your mind away. It's amazing. Like, before I came to Korea, I didn't realize how close-minded I was with regards to the schooling system. The South African schooling system was all I knew, until I got to Korea and this whole new world was brought to my attention. And now there are so many points from the Korean system I wish I could implement in the South African system, but then there are also so many points in the Korean system where I'm just like, we're good, hey, we're good. My aim was to enlighten you a little bit more, whether you are Korean or South African watching this. I hope I enlightened you a little bit more about either system. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you didn't enjoy the video, give it a like. Don't forget to follow me on all the social medias, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next week with a new video.